Mr. President, this proposition today, I'm going to speak on behalf of me being a British Indian. I'm not going to delve into the politics that I've heard around deriding a country because of one person, because for me, the growth of India over the last 9 years has made Indians out of India incredibly confident and proud. And I say that standing here as somebody who went to India for the first time in 1976 as a 16-year-old, so you can figure my age from that. And then again, 77, and then again onwards until 2020 when the pandemic hit. And for 1 year, I did not go to India, but I was there in April. I was heading the all-party parliamentary group for trade and investment with India. And I can tell you that in all the years that I've been going, not just as a politician, but as a businesswoman, somebody taking delegations to India, I've seen transformational change, particularly in the last 9 years. Now, I don't dabble in Indian politics. That is for the people of India to decide. But what I do say is that somebody looking from the outside in, that the progress that I've seen in recent years has made many of us incredibly confident that we can now go about the world because the world now wants to know us. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we should be talking about. We've derided and discussed one human being, and you've rightly pointed out, elections are there to decide who comes in and who goes out. And all countries have their challenges. But the infrastructure I've seen, the roads that I've seen built, the flyovers that I've seen, and more importantly for me, who stands up for the rights of women and girls, the emphasis on education for women and girls, the rights for Muslim women on the triple talaq, was a real big moment for me. Because these are women who were kept in the shadows, no rights, and yet now they have that right. I won't delve into the internal politics of a country. I have no right to do so, just like I know politicians have no right to come here and dabble in ours. We have a right to an opinion. We have a right to raise an issue. When we don't agree with something at a political level, we raise them. I've been a former minister. I had to do it all of the time, not with India only, but with many countries. But the point is, in a growing democracy, and I have to remind many people, India in its new form is only 75 years old. And in 75 years old, we should be envious, those of us who have been democracies forever, because we've not managed the growth story that India has managed. We should be envious that they've got a GDP far greater than ours. And that is why the whole world is looking to partner up with India. And it's important that we actually talk up our partners, because we then are joining that story of success. We do share a history, and for me, it's a very painful history, because my ancestors were part of the movement that wanted freedom from the British Raj. But I have the great privilege of serving as a parliamentarian in the oldest democracy, alongside partnering with the largest democracy. And of course, there is a long way to go in giving the GDP per capita at the par that you'd like to see it. But my God, 75 years and you've managed to do so much. Now, you mystified me when you talked about the toilets. For goodness sake, those people, particularly women, who couldn't go out, are now safe because they have access to the very basic needs of a human being. Denied. And I'll tell you why I feel really angry when we demean the values of those sort of very simple interventions, but they impact on so many people, is because girls stopped going to school because they could not get the privacy of toilets. They had menstrual cycles and they could not go to school because they had no privacy of toilets. They may sound basic to all of you sitting in this wonderful room. You're privileged to be here, but the large majority of people across the planet, not just in India, but across the planet, do not have the privileges that we are enjoying. And therefore, when a leader comes along with a 1.4 billion population, I actually thought, my goodness, what would we do? We have a 1.4 billion population, 65% of which is under 35. So of course the unemployment rates are going to be higher because you've got more people. And of course you're going to have to progress quicker because you've got more people. But we're a country here that are aging. We're losing young people because our childbirth rate is not big enough. I think the Pope or somebody said have more children. But it's true. So let us celebrate actually what you've achieved. And I sat there thinking that we talked about Kashmir. Now, we talk about Kashmir in the negative all of the time. Now, let me tell you, I've had a delegation from Kashmir come, and they are keen for investment in Kashmir because it's now a safe environment. So let us enjoy the fact that people want to invest in Kashmir. And for those who raised the point of hundreds and thousands of people dying, I hope the tears were shed for all of those people that were pundits who were also being killed, those pundits who had to flee their homes. I always say, let's not look at one side of a catastrophe. There are two sides. There are victims from all sides, and we need to share the pain for all. There are countries today where if you are not a Muslim in that country, you do get attacked. Your religious places are destroyed. So where is all the up in arms about that? Let's be fair. Let's be fair in our judgment on how we want to see the world. For me, as somebody who was born in India, I was 9 months old when I left India in 1960, came to a country growing up here, faced huge racism, but I knew one thing, this country enabled me, even with the racism, even with all of the challenges that I had, I ended up knowing that I could do what I wanted to do. And I see confident young Indians doing that when I go to India. They come from all backgrounds. I see all Indians doing what they want to do. They want to see a prosperous India. They want to take that prosperity out. I urge young people from the UK to go and visit India, because today it's much easier to invest in India than it has ever been before. The systems, and I don't know about the states' politics, but I do know different states have different governments, and all governments are working really, really hard to make investment easier. And that's what you want to see. So this proposition that this House believes that Modi's India is on the right path, yes, it is. Because there is economic growth, there is confidence in the Indian people. They don't believe that they are now beholden to having to listen to somebody else's way of democracy. The world is wooing India. India itself has become a convening force for so many places. We should celebrate that. We should celebrate that there's another democracy doing exactly what democracies should be doing. And that is enabling people to be themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, This debate has, in my view, been so emotive. It has harked on all of the things that we can see negative. And yet the people of India are the most, I often look at them, they're the most entrepreneurial people I've ever come across. They are fascinated by what's going on in the digital world, in the world of AI, in the world of cyber, in the world of space. They are fascinated by being a big force on the world stage. We should celebrate that. I'll be there again at the end of the year. I'm taking another delegation. And I encourage businesses to come, just as I encourage businesses from India to come and invest in the UK. It's partnerships, it's growth, it's confidence. Thank you very much.